Welcome to Your Business is Not Your Boss. I'm Geoff Welch, and I help small business owners cancel the chaos and accomplish more with less effort. What is up? Welcome to episode 56 of Your Business is Not Your Boss. I am your host, Geoff Welch, and today we are talking about a major differentiator, something you can do, you can control that will differentiate you from your competition and really should be a game-changing, business trajectory altering habit, practice, action that you can take, okay? Before we get into that, I just want to let you know, like in Alaska, it is the middle of winter here, the deep, dark middle of winter. I am recording this on a Monday at 9:51 a.m. and it is dark outside. It has not yet become light. It will not become light for a little bit yet. I think we are right around, well, as of this recording, we're right around solstice, and so less than 4 hours of daylight for us here. But it's Monday. I am recording this podcast and I am hyped. Last week we got a huge dump of snow across a couple of days, a lot of plowing the driveway and that kind of thing. That was followed immediately by some pretty cold temperatures in the 25 to 30 below range. And so it has been very Alaska. It has been dark. It has been lots of snow. It has been cold weather. And yet it's Monday morning. I'm psyched to be here. And I hope wherever you are listening to this from that you are doing well and you are excited about the prospect of whatever you have in front of you this week. I think it is a powerful thing to be able to approach your week with a sense of, let's see what I can make of this. Like, let's see what I can do with this week. Instead of it being, oh no, it's Monday. Oh golly. So I've sort of set my Monday mornings up in a way where I get to do my favorite things first thing on a Monday and really get to approach the week with some structure that is good for me. Hopefully you are approaching your week in a similar fashion. But without further ado, I want to get into this episode, and I want to start by talking naturally. I kind of want to do this every episode by talking about Derek Jeter. And we're really not talking about Derek Jeter, but I do want to bring up a quote from him that has always really resonated with me. I've always loved, because Derek Jeter, while he ended his career as just an absolute iconic Yankee, someone who set a number of Yankee records, he won 5 rings with the Yankees, 4 of them in the span of 5 years, was part of that late 90s dynasty, and really just entrenched himself as an iconic Yankee. But he wasn't always regarded as the legend that he is now. When he was first coming up, I think there were lots of questions about his defense. He just wasn't spectacular on paper, I don't think. Not the kind of player that you just look at his numbers and say, oh my goodness, this is some astronomical talent. He just had the ability to show up in the biggest moments in the best ways, and to be consistent across a career of about 20 years, and that will turn you into a legend. You show up in enough playoff games and do all the right things in those moments, and you become iconic. But the quote that I want to reference is this. He says, there may be people who have more talent than you, but there is no excuse for anyone to work harder than you do. And I love that, because it can be so deliciously easy to let ourselves off the hook by looking at everyone around us who has this, that, or the other. In the small business context, maybe they have a better network than you do. Maybe they have more access to capital or other resources than you do. Maybe, their team is more experienced and more robust than yours is. They're surrounded by these other people, or they have access to these things that you don't have. And what you want to do is say, well, that's why they are going to win instead of me, because of all of that kind of stuff. And while I do think that hard work is super important, I would never suggest that you should never have to work hard. You should just have all the things you want, and hard work is irrelevant. I do think in the context of sort of where I operate, my goal is to help small business owners not have to work so hard, to work smarter, to really figure out how to build the systems and do all the things, which is hard work on the front end, so that they don't have to work hard to win later on. But I would like to sort of take we'll call it pinch hitting for his word work here. There's no excuse for anyone to work harder than you. I'm going to pinch hit for that with the idea of learning. There is absolutely no reason any of your competitors, anyone out there should be out learning you. And some of that learning may be direct business applicable. I need to go learn about these new laws that were passed that affect my industry so that I know what I need to do next. I need to become more financially wise so that I can, manage the financial part of my business better. I need to learn to be more effective, to manage my time better, to really dial in my personal effectiveness and self-management so that I can accomplish more with less effort. Like, all of those things are fantastic, but I don't think it's limited to that. I think learning to play the drums is a great thing. Learning to play pickleball is fantastic. Learning about some historical figure is also brilliant. And I say that for this reason. When you decide that you know enough, when you decide that you've kind of got it figured out, and I really don't need to take that class, I really don't need to join that mastermind, I really don't need to watch this YouTube video, because I kind of have it figured out. What you are doing is blocking opportunity. What you are doing is saying, I don't have time for more, or even worse, I want to defend what I already know, and all the new stuff out there is the enemy of what I already know, and what I'm comfortable with. I want to protect my borders, and that necessarily blocks off opportunity. It's going to block off relationships that may develop because you start a conversation with somebody about, a topic that you're learning about, and they're like, wow, yeah, no, I'm interested in that as well. It's good for your brain to be learning things constantly. When you're young, lots of those neurons and synapses and all the brain stuff, those things are building and growing and doing all of that by themselves, right? That's just a natural part of your progression as a human. You hit a certain point in life. I hit a certain point in life. Everyone does eventually, if they keep getting older. And those things start to slow down. It starts to change a little bit. And learning forces your brain to do something, to build these connections, and that's good for your brain. And my argument here today is that learning about your business, learning about your industry, that's fantastic, and I think that that's important, and I would never discourage you from doing that. But that might not be the only way to incorporate learning into your world. I would argue that learning to play the drums, or any instrument or any endeavor like that, but learning to play the drums is going to help your brain to become healthier and to be, building those connections that weren't there before. And it's going to put you as a person in a posture of saying, I don't know everything, and it's good for me to try things that are uncomfortable and hard. We talked very recently about the idea of moving through incompetence, right? That's a necessary part of your growth. But part of what that does for you is it reinforces to you there is a lot about this world and about all the things around you that you don't know yet. And when you operate from a position of, I know it all, or I know enough, again, you are limiting yourself. You are closing off opportunity, and you are saying, what I have, what I see, what I understand is enough. And everyone else around me who's learning and who is leveling up and who is growing, they are going to run you over. They are going to knock you down and move right on past you. And so that is a choice to say, I will limit my opportunities by operating from a posture of, I already know enough. There's really nothing else I need to learn. The flip side of that is saying, I don't know anything, right? I know so little. I have this beginner's mindset. I'm not worried to ask stupid questions. I am so curious to learn more about any number of things that cannot help but influence everything you do. So if you are learning to play the drums and you are, I'm going to watch these YouTube videos, I'm going to look for players who are interesting, exciting, and they make me think about what I'm learning here differently. That doesn't stop when you stand up from the drum set and walk away. That sort of mindset starts to bleed into anything else you do and everything else you do. It starts to make you question things on your job and, in your business and say, what if we did this differently? When I was watching this video, it made me think about how I'd never considered that possibility. And now I'm wondering if there are possibilities all around me that I haven't considered. What else can I learn here? What else can I learn from my team? What else can I learn from my colleagues around me? What else can I learn from people who have been further down the path than I am and have some insight to share? The idea that you are going to acknowledge there's a lot that I don't know and I cannot wait to figure some of it out, that it just infects every part of your life. And I think it infects is kind of a negative word, but I think that's a super positive thing, right? To approach as much of your life and as much of your world as possible with the sense of, wow, I wonder what I don't know about this. It's a really neat place to operate from. And I think that is ultimately where some of your best ideas will come from. The idea that you are going to operate from a posture of, I know plenty, and also be able to generate new, exciting, innovative ideas, that's probably a stretch. Those new, exciting, innovative ideas are going to come from a posture of saying, man, there's a lot that I don't know. There's a lot about the way that we do this over and over and over again that might be broken. So what if we changed it? What if we turned it on its head and flipped it upside down and said, we're not as smart as we think we are. There might be a better way out there. That is the genesis of learning and growth and expansion, right? So if you want to experience more excitement around, the work that you do on a daily basis in your business, if you want to experience more breakthroughs when it comes to having new ideas, seeing your problems from different perspectives, and really having a brand new way of doing something you've always done this other way, it all starts with having a habitual posture of learning. This is a thing we do all the time. And so my opportunity for action here today is to just pick something you're curious about. It doesn't have to be something as big as playing the drums, because I will tell you, that is not something you just do in an afternoon. It's not something you just start one day and say, oh, I figured it out. That was cool. There are other things that you probably could pick up in a day and say, oh, wow, it was really interesting to learn about that. Now I know quite a bit about that and am capable. So there are all these, varying levels of how much investment it's going to take to capture enough information to be capable or competent or, whatever. So, but identify something that you're curious about and pursue that thing on purpose. That's a YouTube video. It is a class at your local community college. That is an online course. It could be a seminar, a conference. There's all these different places. But what I want you to do is pick that thing and schedule time to pursue it. Put 15 minutes on your calendar. Put an hour on your calendar. Block off some time this week to read a book, to watch that YouTube video, to do some research on a course that you may be able to take, right? Do that, not just set in your mind, that is a good thing to do. Put it on your calendar and make it a habit. Make it a habit to do that every week. Could you carve out 15, 30, 60 minutes in a week to pursue some of this? It doesn't always necessarily have to be one block. I think putting it on your calendar makes it a real thing. Okay? Instead of just saying this is a good idea, putting it on your calendar says this is a thing I will do. This is a thing that I have acknowledged is going to take some time, going to take something, take an investment from me, and I'm going to allocate. I'm not just going to cross my fingers and hope, I'm going to allocate. Okay? That's it from me. A posture of learning anything, whether it is about your business or about something that just interests you outside of your business, that posture of learning is going to affect everything. It's going to affect the way you see all the things. Having a posture of I know enough, I know it all is limiting and will absolutely crush your opportunities. Having a posture of there's a lot to learn, I'm curious, I want to know more, that instantly creates new opportunities for you. So, and I hope that you will lean into that. Put it on your calendar. All right, that's it from me. Don't forget, your business is not your boss.